Hey guys, welcome back to Kelly's Creations. I'm so glad you're here. So today is part 2. If you missed part 1, pause this video, go back into my minis playlist, and you will see part 1 of the shadow box. So where I left off last week was I finished that shelf and I got the rock well started, or the stone wall, whatever you would like to call it. And here's where I ended up. I was just double checking to make sure everything still fit in place. So now it's time to attach the oven door, and using hot glue, I put some hot glue on the back of it, and I put the oven door, making sure the opening fit around the part where I painted to make it look like the inside of the oven. Look how cute that is. Oh my gosh. Minis are so much fun. It really is. I am going to jump around back and forth. I'm so sorry, but to let things dry, I move on, and bear with me. So we're going to come back to that stone wall. I'm taking some pewter. I'm going around the edges of the stones, and I'm going to start layering. And I'm going to keep layering with pewter, with white, with silver. I might even grab a little bit more brown, and I'm just going to keep layering it until I have the stone wall exactly the way I want it to look. It is going to have a lot more gray tones, I think, at the end than beige. But like I said, you just keep layering until you have your desired look. But every layer you put on here, oh my gosh, it just makes it pop. Sometimes the videos don't portray these projects like they look, of course, in real life. I also come in with cream as well, and just keep layering on all my stones. Okay, so with all those different paints, I think I got it exactly the way I want it. I'm going to set it aside, let it dry, leave it alone, because I know if I keep staring at it, I'll keep painting. You ever have that problem? Like you just can't stop. So set that aside to dry. I went into my little jar of buttons, and right now I'm just playing around with different sizes of buttons, and I want 3 knobs, 2 small burners, and 1 big burner. So I'm just grabbing different sizes. It really doesn't matter what color the buttons are because they're going to get painted anyway. Right now I'm basically going for the right size. So I found my 2 small burners. Now I'm going to look for my bigger burner, and then I'm going to look for 3 little tinier buttons to make the knobs. And it's just a lot of times, like I think when I originally was going to do my stove, I was just going to have 2 big burners. But as you go and ideas just start coming to you, and I'm like, no, I want little handles and the whole kit and caboodle here. So I got the buttons that I think I'm going to go with. So I'm going to grab some painter's tape. I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to put those buttons on the painter's tape so that they won't move while I paint. I recently saw this. I can't remember whose channel it was. I watched so many videos. But I saw somebody do this, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Why haven't I always been doing this with little items? So I am going to paint all of the buttons black. And then I think I come in with a little bit of pewter and maybe dab a little bit, but primarily I want my buttons to be black. I think on maybe the burners, not so much the handles, I come in maybe with the metallic and go over it. And then I leave the holes because that's where the fire comes out. So I thought, hey, buttons work perfect because that would be the holes where the fire comes out. And I actually go over them a little bit with burnt umber as well to make them look like they're worn. Anybody who's had a gas stove can understand, like that part always is a little darker. So I am attaching my buttons with craft glue. I wasn't even gonna try stringy glue gun. Yeah, I wasn't gonna go there. So I'm just taking some tweezers, grabbing my button, dipping it in the craft glue, and that's how I'm putting them on the stove. I do come in with pewter. I wasn't sure a few minutes ago, but I do come in and I also touch it up with any craft glue or anything that you could see. I touch that up with the black. And I do come back in with black as well, like I said before, and I kind of highlight around the holes because that would be darker on a normal gas stove than the rest of it. So I have that exactly, oh, it's so cute. I have that exactly the way I want it. We're gonna work on the front of this now. And I went out in the yard, I grabbed some sticks. And my plan was to have the knobs on this cabinet be wooden sticks, but it would be too fat to put back in the shadow box. So what I did is I grabbed some scissors and I just cut the bark off of the sticks and used craft glue, and all I'm all I'm gluing down is just the bark off the stick. And you don't know the difference. It looks just like it has wooden handles on the cabinet. Gonna bring it in a little closer to show you. That looks so rustic, doesn't it? So now we're gonna focus on the hinges, and just using a skinny paintbrush and some black paint, I am gonna make 2 squares on the door, and I'm gonna make 3 squares on the oven door. Then I'm just gonna come in and I'm gonna use the metallic and silver and just put a couple dots to mimic the screws. I do put a little circle to make like a little circle handle as well on the oven door. And we're going to bring it in a little closer for you to see. So we got the stove part done. We got the hinges. We got the hardware on the doors. Again, we're going to put it back, make sure everything still fits into place. We're good. It's looking great. And now we're going to start attaching it and embellishing it. So I am going to use hot glue on the cabinet and being really careful to not have it seep out the edges. So I glue down the cabinet first, and it fits perfectly because I think I told you guys this last week, but every time I pushed that on when the Rockwell was still soft, it kind of indented it, so I kind of knew exactly where it was going to go. So I'm going to hot glue that down, and now we're going to start having fun decorating. I'm also going to take the shelf and attach that as well. Now, I'm using hot glue. I suggest using something stronger, like E6000 super glue, something stronger than hot glue. I did this just so I could keep on going, and I'm hoping the glass just holds it in place. But yeah, I would definitely use something stronger. So Dollar Tree sells dollhouse, like plastic little houses and little accessories. And I had bought one of these months back. I can't even remember. Probably for a mini. I knew I could use the little pieces. So one of the pieces resembles a toaster, and the other one I thought would make the cutest little bread box. Oh my goodness. And I did take out 3 pieces. I didn't end up using one of them. But oh my gosh, it's such a bang for your buck, because look how much stuff you get for $1.25 now. So this is the piece I thought resembled the bread box. And I totally forgot. One of my subscribers said to put Mod Podge on these little plastic pieces first, and it would make painting them a lot easier, and I totally forgot. So it took me probably about 3 coats of burnt umber to cover this piece, but so cute. Totally looks like a wooden bread box, or at least I think it does. And 3 coats of burnt umber, set that aside to dry. Now, I think the top piece of this would make the perfect little toaster, but I needed to get it unattached from the bottom. It was all one piece. So I just used my cutter tool and I cut it in half, and it worked. It didn't damage it. It cut it perfectly through the plastic. Yeah, pieces went flying, but I went and grabbed them. And I think this makes the perfect little toaster. So for this one, I'm going to take that metallic silver and put 3 or 4 coats of that metallic silver on this little piece, and that's going to be a toaster. So I see minis in everything, I tell you. So my husband and son wanted to go to the shooting range, and I went with them, but I don't shoot. But I was sitting there watching them, and everybody's shells just go on the floor everywhere. And there's even like a garbage pail full of these. So I grabbed handfuls of them and put them in my purse because I knew I could use them for a mini. And here's where they come in handy. The top of the little shell, what are they called? Bullet shells? I don't know. Anyway, the top of them have a little ridge, and I thought that would be cool to paint black, leave the bottom the copper color, brass color, and they would make the perfect little miniature canisters. So I took 3 of them and painted all the tops black on those 3. I had a real skinny one, and I thought that would be a cute brass planter. So that one I actually paint on the bottom. But before I get to that, I took my hot glue gun and I just was really, really careful, and I put just a dollop of hot glue on the top and kind of shook it around till it was like the perfect little circle. I did that on all 3 of them, and that excuse me, that makes it look more of like a handle or a lid on the top of these. So I did that to all 3, and if you shake it, it kind of forms a perfect little circle on top. Once that was fully dry, I did paint that black to match. This is the little skinny one, and I decided to paint, it's the top of it, that little lip, but I'm going to flip it over and use that as a little vase. So it's actually the bottom. So these little bamboo skewers, which I think I got at the grocery store, I loved them because, and it's really hard to catch on camera, but the top of these have ridges. They're a little decorative than just a normal toothpick. And I thought that that would mimic rolling pins, or maybe the top of wooden spoons. And for one of those they're not shotgun, bullet I don't know, casings, I guess, I grabbed another one, and I thought that would be really cute to hold these little bamboo skewers. And they break easily. I just broke them. At first I cut them, but then I just broke them with my hands, different sizes. And then I came in and I painted some of them brown, some of them gray. I wanted them to all be different. So once I got them all painted, and of course I broke them at the bottom because I wanted that decorative little ridges in them to be the top part of them. So I'm going on and on, I know, I'm sorry. Here I'm still painting them all, set them aside to dry. Once they're dry, I'm going to take my hot glue gun and put just a little bit of glue inside of there so that I can position these the way I want. Then I take each stick, starting with the tallest, and I stick them inside there with the hot glue and position them to sit inside that casing exactly the way I want them to sit. So now I have all of those in place exactly how I want them. Now it's time to go back to the other casings and paint the tops where I put the little dollop of hot glue to make a handle. So I come in and I paint the hot glue in the black to match the top of the shell. I still don't know what to call those, but I just go and put one coat of black paint. These rub-on transfers from Dollar Tree, I've been dying to use this, and they have little numbers on them. And I thought that would be cute to cut out the 1, the 2, and the 3 and put these on my canisters. If you've never used these before, you just cut out the image off the sheet and rub it on. You can kind of see it pull away. That way you know it's on there. So you keep rubbing until it kind of gets clear. And then you pull that plastic off and it's stuck to your image. So those are really cute. Now for the glass, there was another cute little image on that sheet. And I just grabbed that and rubbed it on the little glass bottle as well, just to give it more decorative look to it. The image is so small, I'm not even sure what the image is, but it just added just a little bit more detail to that glass bottle. So cute. And the bread box. At first, I actually had free-handed bread on there. I didn't like the way it looked. So I came in with a little brush, dabbed it in white paint, kind of made a little white box on it. And then I came in with that skinny little brush again, and I just free-handed in black the word bread. I'm not real skilled in painting letters, but it worked. You can see that it says bread, and because of my non-skilled way of doing it with a paintbrush, it actually turned out rustic country as well. So Dollar Tree sells these puffy stickers, and I thought that sticker really resembled a backsplash. It was already the silver color. I didn't need to paint it. What I did need to do was cut that sticker down to size. So I just kept putting it where I wanted it and trimming off the edges till I had it that perfect size to fit under the shelf and above the stove. I just think that adds to the piece, and I just think it makes a perfect little backsplash for my mini kitchen. Here's a little up-close view of it. It's really coming together. I'm loving the way this is looking. So we're going to add a few more details to it. Dollar Tree sells these wood slices, and they were the perfect size to put on the counter and put the bread box on. So all I did was I came in with a little bit of black paint, and I only painted the outside edge of the wood slice. I left the top the natural wood, and that is going to be put on my counter with the bread box on it. So I showed you this in previous videos. I bought these decorative buttons off of Amazon, and I just picked out 3 of them that I thought would really work well with this piece, and I'm going to use those as fake plates to put on top of the shelf. So we're going to change the view a little bit so you guys can see what I'm doing. And I just took some hot glue and put it on the bottom of that wooden slice. I'm going to put that in the corner of my cabinet, and that's going to be where the bread box is going to sit. I thought it needed something else, so I grabbed a doily that I had previously used. I cut it down, and I am going to glue that to the top of the wood slice. And then I'm going to put my bread box down using hot glue. I grabbed those buttons. I'm not worried about the holes because I am going to be putting things in front of them. And I use hot glue and put the buttons, glue them to the stone wall on top of the shelf. Once I had the plates in place, now it's time to add all the little details. I glued the toaster down. I came back in, I added just a little black paint and silver, just a little bit more to touch it up. And then I took some black paint and I added 2 lines on the top of the toaster to mimic the holes where the toast would go in. That toaster is so stinking cute. Oh my gosh. So now I'm going to add a little glue to the bottom and add my canister that's holding the spoons or the, I'm going blank, rolling pins. And using craft glue, I am going to glue the canisters to the top of the shelf, putting all 3 canisters on the top of the shelf. The canisters are in place, so now it's time to glue that bottle down. I put the bottle in the opposite corner of the canisters. Now I'm going to grab that little vase and I'm going to glue that vase down right next to the bottle. Now at this point, I didn't put anything in that vase. So here's a close-up of what that back looks like. Oh my gosh. Now, I was staring at it and it's so stinking cute. Oh my gosh. It has so many little details in it. I'm really loving how this piece is turning out, but I just thought it needed something else. So here is the view of it without the greenery. And I don't know why I didn't think of this as I was doing it, but I made that vase. I should have put something in it. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to add just a little greenery to the shelf. I'm going to put a little greenery in the vase, and I'm going to show you what that looks like as well. These little canisters are so cute. All the little details on this just come together and make such a cute rustic country kitchen. So here it is where I added just a little touch of greenery, putting it in the canister, putting it on the shelf, and this is what the finished look is going to be. Now again, this is the back of my shadow box. I haven't attached it yet because I wanted to really get up close and personal and show you all the details before I put it in the box, because once I put it in the box, I'm going to have a tiny glare because of the glass. So I'm just going through showing you guys all the little details, and then I'm going to attach it back to the box, and I will also show you what that looks all finished. I hope you guys are enjoying my minis. I have so many ideas for future minis. My biggest idea, and let me know in the comments below if you like this idea, is to combine my 2 loves, which is thrift shopping and minis, and get different items from the thrift store and put a mini diorama inside those items. So let me know in the comments below if that's something you guys would love to see, because I would love to start doing that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell for future notifications. I post videos every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, hit like. That helps my channel so much. Leave a comment below. I hope everybody is having a blessed and most wonderful week, and I'll see y'all next Tuesday. Love you guys. Bye, y'all.